Welcome to another episode of the roughly related to reselling podcast. I did a little clap thing. You're not going to hear it because I'm going to edit it out, but I did it so I could try to figure out the audio this week because I fucked up last week and couldn't splice it together. And so I went on YouTube and it was there's a video saying how you should clap 3 times at the beginning of the video to get your mark. And so I did that and then I fucked up the intro. So I'm not going back to doing it. Again, that's it. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Perry Flips on Instagram, Pothead Picker on X or Twitter, and then Flips and Giggle page on Facebook. And if you like the show, subscribe, rate, review, leave a comment. I promise I won't remove it, unless it's spam. But another week of reselling. It's cold as fuck today. It was warming up a little bit yesterday. It snowed randomly. I didn't see anywhere that it was supposed to snow. And then we woke up, I think it was Monday morning. Yeah, because my daughter had school, so she had to go to school. And there was a few inches of snow, and then by the afternoon it was gone. And then yesterday it was completely gone and warm, and then today it's freezing again. So, yeah, it's still far from. It's we're on to January is just the slowest month, man. The reason they do Christmas and shit is to break up the how shitty it is because winter fucking sucks. I don't know if that's the reason. It's whatever. I'm just saying that that's what it feels like because from the time Christmas ends, you got New Year's, but New Year's when you have kids is just another day. You know what I mean? You might go out to dinner, you might do some fucking bullshit early, but it's not like a holiday. Sometimes you might have people over, you know what I mean? Occasionally you'll have people over, but still you're not it's not a late night because it's usually the next day kids have school. Well, they don't have school that day, but the day after. And, but then from January to whenever fucking yard sales start picking up, I don't know. Hopefully in March I'll start seeing them. Usually takes a little while. The good one, I find that the yard sale season usually at the beginning is when you find some really good shit. Because sometimes the other resellers aren't out yet, and not that they're not out, but they're not searching as hard, or I'm sure they are, but you know what I mean. I don't know what I'm trying to say. So, I just keep reminding myself, man, it's just January just dragged. It felt I kept looking and I'm so many things felt like they happened in January. I was oh, that was last month. I'm no, that was January. Not, I was saying this as in last month, January, but saying it in January, And, man, yeah. I did actually get to go out on Saturday. So on Saturday, after I had because I put the podcast out earlier in the day, or I put it out maybe Thursday or Friday. So I was supposed to have to, watch my 2 kids on Saturday morning. My wife was supposed to work, but then she ended up being sick on Thursday, Friday. And she still wasn't sure if she was still pretty sick Friday, so she called out Saturday. And so because she called out, she was going to be home. So I wasn't going to be out all morning. So I was I'll just go to a estate sale or 2. There was 2. So there was one that got posted after I had posted the podcast already. There was one that had gotten posted. It was in another state, and they didn't advertise it crazy well. So I was all right, I'll go there too. So my plan was to go to the other one and then go to this one because this one was starting earlier. Go put my name on the list at the other one and then go to this one. And I should have just said fuck the other one. The other one was a company one. I should have just been you know what? And I should have just gone earlier to this other one. But still, when I got there, it was like, it was only one other person ahead of me that had gone in, and they were supposed to start at 8. They let me in at 7, and it had been listed like, later it was like probably 7 or 8 o'clock, and it was only listed in a couple of like sale pages. Like it wasn't listed on Marketplace, or I couldn't find it like trying to search for it anywhere, just, and so I was like, all right, like this one's probably going to be better. So I should have gone just right to that one, but I went to the other one first. But when I got to that one, I was like, oh, I'll get there at like 6:15, like, and see how it is. Like if it's crazy busy, I'll just go back, thinking there might be like one or two people waiting to put their name on the list. There was like so many fucking cars that I was just like, all right, just fuck it, just go to this other sale. So I just drove straight there. I didn't even like bother stopping. I turned around, got back on the road, went straight to the other sale, got there like right at 7. They let me in, and I started making a pile. But it was all like pretty good shit. Like I got a little of everything. It was kind of like, some of the stuff that I was hoping I was going to get was gone. Like a couple of, because I didn't see a ton of stuff I wanted in the pictures, but there was like a couple things. And so there was a guy who had already made a little pile. And so like I started making, a pile of stuff, but I got like some toys, sealed toys. I ended up getting a Spider-Man. I grabbed it. Like this guy was like in the room looking at other stuff around it, and so like I knew he'd eventually get to it, so I just grabbed it because I'm like, whatever, he's like looking at other shit. And it was from Spider-Man 2 the movie, and I had a feeling it was worth some, like I feel like I found the loose figure before and looked it up. And so and like I've never found that exact figure, like, and so this was sealed brand new, like in good condition. And the sold listings were for between like 120 and 140, so that was like a nice, like, added thing. Sorry, I wasn't sure. I completely forgot I was video recording. Now I have to pay attention to how my fucking body is positioned. I got my monitor over here. Sorry, I gotta check on the child because I can't see her here for a second. That usually means she's laying down. But yeah, it was, so it was like some guys' brothers. They looked really familiar. I meant to ask them like if because they don't do estate sales. It was their like brothers' stuff. They told me that much, and because I was there for a good while, like I knew I wasn't going anywhere else, and so like I was still making a pile when like the other guys who were there before me left, and then other people started showing up and shit too, and like so I was trying to still watch my pile. Those guys were pretty good about like watching the pile too. And so I was walking through, like, and so I went into the clothing. So I got like some toys. There was a ton of like Hot Wheels stuff. The prices were kind of high on the Hot Wheels stuff. I probably could have gone back the next day and just like cleaned up whatever was left. But there was a guy walking out with like a big thing of Hot Wheels. Like it looked like a lot of it was from the 90s, and like I know that stuff goes for good money, but for the prices they were asking on it, it just wasn't worth it for me at that time. You know what I mean? And so, I just keep going through it. I was just having a good time looking through shit. And like there was a clothing section and nobody had touched the clothes yet. So I was like, I'll go in there. Like the guy who was in there had like, you could tell he wasn't looking for clothes. I've seen him at sales before, so I just kind of left the clothes. So then I go in there. And of course I go in there, and as soon as I have like go in there, he's in there, and I'm like, fuck, man, I just was like, so I go in there and I just go on the other side of him. I start looking at stuff, and I could tell he doesn't want anything to do with the clothes. So he's just like, I'm just gonna take off. He said something like that he didn't like. He wasn't being shitty. He just was like, yeah, this isn't my forte or whatever. So I started digging through, and I found like a couple vintage T-shirts. There's a cool one from like, it said like Rocky Point something, and it had like a comic book. I found the comic book in the house somewhere else. So like I put 2 and 2 together. I was like, oh, this is for the same thing. And when you open the comic, it's like for the T-shirt. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So that I'm hoping is like collectible, but we'll see. Who knows? I always get T-shirts thinking they're gonna be a ton of money, and then they never are. So who knows? That one might be all right. And then what else did I get? I got some hats. There's like a couple cool hats there. There was like one of the Reebok designs. I've sold it before, for like a vintage Patriots hat, and a lot of the stuff was like in good shape. You know how you go to like hoarders' houses, because it wasn't like a hoarder, because the guy was like, oh, all this stuff was in the basement. Like they were like, oh, we took all this stuff up from the basement and like they set it up all up, on tables and shit throughout the house, essentially. And so he was like, yeah, all this stuff was like, from the basement or whatever. And we just brought it all up here. And yeah, so there was just a lot of stuff to go through. So I just kept walking around and like going to different rooms, and I kept finding shit like, that like looks like it goes for some money. And then yeah, the price wasn't like crazy expensive. I did like commit a no-no, a yard sale no-no. I went with like not enough money, and I know I fucked up because one of the ads said that they took Venmo, and I couldn't remember which one it was, and I didn't want to look it up while I was driving. So I mean, my house is crazy loud. It makes like crazy noises sometimes. It's like, yeah, it's very weird. My kids are always like, "What is that noise?" Like, I have no fucking idea. So yeah, it was really cool. I mean, there was a lot of shit. The guy was like telling me he has all these CDs and cassettes and stuff at his house too, and I was trying to get him to like see if he was selling them, but he was like, it sounded like he was like, he collected them. So it wasn't. I don't think it was gonna happen. But yeah, I had to go like to another state. That was a whole nother state away, which it was only like, it was a 45-minute ride from the house, and I mean, like I said, I was there for over an hour. It was like an hour and 15 minutes. I think I left at 8:15. The sale was supposed to start at 8. And yeah, I mean, I got just a pile of stuff, and I think I only spent like a little over $100. So I should make my money back. There's a couple things that will sell for like around 100, and then there's a couple wild cards, and then a few like smaller items just to kind of. But I already took pictures of everything, got everything ready to go, and put back. So yeah, it was cool though. I mean, it was like the guys were really cool too. They were like, they watched my shit. He put like a towel over my shit because I went to go get money or whatever, so he didn't want anybody digging in my box. So he was cool about it, and because I was polite and I was asking him questions, and and like, and then they got like really slow. Like there was like nobody else for a little bit. For a little while there was a few people, and then it like died down again by like 8:15, because I think, and then I had a couple resellers. There was like the T-shirt bros or whatever. There was one guy who's like, oh, I know you're buying this. He's like, can I just take a look at it? And he like wanted to look at it. It was a Beatles. I got like 2 vintage Beatles T-shirts. They're not like vintage, but they're from 2005 or 2006. So like, just on the cusp of vintage. And so that was one of the ones that the dude wanted to look at. So I don't know if those are worth like some money or what. I always think Beatles stuff is going to be worth some money, and then it's not worth a ton of money. But who knows? I mean, they're cool T-shirts. So we'll see. But yeah, it was like one of those sales. I got a little bit of everything. I got like some stuffed animals. I got there was like a big stuffed animal thing I should have gotten. I put it back. I didn't get it, but there's a few different things that I found that were pretty cool. There's some NASCAR stuff. I was hoping there was going to be some NASCAR T-shirts, but there were none. So there wasn't a ton of clothes, which leads me to believe that like they either got rid of like some of the other stuff, or I don't know. But I asked, I was like, oh, is there any other, anything else that you guys got coming out, or any, more stuff you haven't pulled out? And they said no. But yeah, it was nice. I didn't think I was going to get to do anything, and I ended up getting to go to that sale, so that was pretty cool. I mean, obviously my wife was sick, so she kind of had to sacrifice, but she was feeling better that day, and like I brought home some donuts for everybody, so which I promptly ate the most of them. Anytime I get donuts, I'm just like, I could eat like if I bought a box of donuts and there was nobody to stop me, I would just eat like a whole box of donuts in a day. I know I would feel so gross, but yeah, And I'm not like, I don't eat like donuts all the time, but like if given the opportunity to crush some donuts, dude, I'm going to crush them. Uh, um, all right. I lost my train of thoughts thinking about donuts. Let me go up and see. About 15 minutes in. Oh, this is like the 50th episode. I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but so 50 episodes. Hopefully we'll do another 50. I just had a random thought the other day that I put down to talk about, but I'm sure people like do this already, but like just running like an Instagram account with big titted AI women, like women made from AI that are just like, half naked or whatever. I bet you could make like a shitload of money doing that. It could be my new side hustle, but I would have no idea how to do it. They would come out all fucked up. I think you have to pay to use AI. Like, I know there's free versions, but I don't know how people make like the crazy artwork. Because anytime I put anything into AI, I'm like, hey, give me like a picture of something. It just like describes something for me. So I don't know. I've used the Chat GPT, and I've also used the one on X, the Grok one. I like the Grok one a little bit better. The X one kind of sucks. No offense to not the X one, the Chat GPT one kind of sucks. No offense to it though. Like, it's definitely above and beyond what I could do intellectually. And I can't remember if it's on my phone or not. I don't want it to like remember and then fucking kill me. But it was great. I had a good time with you, Chat GPT. I don't think it's still on my phone. I hope not. It's probably still on there. I did a Facebook Marketplace sale last week. And normally I don't drive, like I don't drive stuff to people, but this guy asked, he was like, oh, I'll pay you extra for it if you drive it to me. And it was like 10 minutes from my kid's school. So I was like, all right, I'll do it after I'll drop my kid off, and then I'll come right from there over to pick it, to drop it off. So I go, and the guy was like, oh yeah, because he was originally going to meet me at some gas station or something like that. He's like, yeah, I ride an electric bike and it's raining, so can you bring it to the house? So it was like right up from where I was going to meet him still. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go and I get to the house, and like, you never know what you're going to, what to expect when you're in a reselling situation, either buying and selling. Like, I'm always kind of like cautious and shit. Like, if it's something that's expensive, typically nobody's going to fucking rob you for it. You know what I mean? Or if it's something that's like highly sought after. If it's something valuable, really valuable, I'm going to meet like at a public place or something, like, police station. Like, I've sold, I sold something for $1,000 one time, and I just met at like a thing. Like, I have this stuff in that situation. Like, it's different when you have money, you know what I mean? Typically people aren't going to rob you for your product. And if they do, it's like, whatever, just take it. It's just fucking stuff. I mean, I'm not going to, I shouldn't say that on here, but, like, more times than not, like, I don't, I'm usually pretty safe about it. I'll usually inspect their shit and like make sure that they're not gonna fucking, murder me. I need to get a gun. I just have like, it's just another, you know what I mean? They make it like almost impossible in Massachusetts. You have to do like fucking a bunch of shit. So for now, I just have like Home Alone style booby traps and fucking weapons hidden everywhere like Dwight Schrute. So if you want some, come get some. But yeah, no, they make it like damn near fucking, not impossible, but there's just a bunch of shit you have to do. And I just haven't had time. I'm like doing all this other shit. But anyway, so I go to meet this guy, and I get to the house, and I like start walking up to the house, and he's like, the fuck does he say? I knock on the door, because like they text the guy, and then I send him a message, and like, because he gives me his phone number, and usually I don't, but I've already been talking to him, so I'm just like, whatever. And like, I could tell he was just kind of a boomer. So I get there, and this dude opens the door, and he's got like no shirt on. I'm like, oh fuck, what's going on right now? So I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to drop off this stuff for a guy on Facebook for James. And he's like, "Oh, Jim, hold on, let me go." I'm like, "Oh, thank fucking God." So he goes and he's like, "Let me see if he's home." So he walks away and he comes back. He's like, "Yeah, I'll be right up. You can come in." Because it was raining. So I was like, all right. So I stepped in the house, had a knife on me, ready to fucking stab these guys in the throat. And so the other guy comes up from the basement. And I was like, oh, this is either a halfway house or these guys are roommates. You know what I mean? This is a situation where these guys are living together. And yeah, so that was I thought that was an interesting little situation that I found myself in. The guy comes up from the basement. Sorry, I just got distracted. But yeah, this guy just comes up from the basement. He's like, he'll be right up. I'm like, oh. And then I looked forward and I'm like, oh, that's a basement. He's living in the basement. So this is either a halfway house or and I'm assuming it's a halfway house because the guy had an electric bike. You know what I mean? So I was just like, okay, cool. And so that's why the guy came to the door. I was like, I'm dropping off podcast equipment. It was my old podcast shit from when I first started podcasting. And, but yeah, he gave me the money. I gave him the stuff. Had a quick little mini conversation, and he was talking about how he uses a Zoom for something else. I was like, oh, I use a Zoom H6, blah, 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 blah. And so then I took off, and I didn't have to fucking slice his throat. And we just kept it moving. It was an amicable and quick, peaceful interaction. Yeah. So, hold on, let me check my little thing here. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I wasn't planning on doing this today, but I always say you got to get in when you're fitting. Oh, and this was another random thought I had the other day. So people when people ask me if I'm a reseller, my answer is always no. And then I say, no, I buy and sell. But I don't say it sarcastically, and I'm not saying it to be a dick. But they almost always just accept it as my answer. And I was just thinking the other day that's the same way as saying I'm a reseller. You know what I mean? They're saying, are you a reseller? And I go, no, I buy and sell. And then they go, oh, okay. You know what I mean? And they don't even question it. They don't even go, well, that's reselling. You know what I mean? I've said it so many times that I've lost count. But the other day I legitimately didn't even realize that I was doing it. And somebody was like, "Oh, you're a reseller." I was like, "No, I buy and sell." And that's the definition of a reseller. It couldn't be any more. That's it. You buy and then you sell it. You're buying it and you're reselling it. And yeah, and they just almost always just accept it as oh, that's wow, he's not a reseller. You know what I mean? Because reseller is such a lot of people don't they hear the word reseller, they think scalpers, and they think people buying up all the toilet paper during the pandemic. And so yeah, so you can use that, I guess. You can try it out and let me know how it goes for you. Nobody's said anything to me yet. It's crazy. It blows my mind that I've said it 1,000 times. Are you a reseller? No, I buy and sell. Oh, so you resell? I wish one person would say that to me. You know what I mean? Because what I meant by it is oh, I collect some things and then I sell some things. You know what I mean? But when I say I buy and sell, that sounds to me like I'm a reseller. But people just accept it as an answer. So try it out. If you find yourself in a situation where somebody's like, "Are you a reseller?" Just say, "No, I buy and sell," and see if they call you out. And then just say you heard it from some podcast. That's the information that you're getting from this podcast. Little tips and tricks. Wordplay. I can't tell if my kid's sleeping or not. Probably not. She's been up causing a ruckus. She's kids to go through like milestones and shit, and you can really like tell. You know what I mean? Because they kind of like, I don't know if it's the same for boys, because I just have 2 girls, but like my oldest did this when she was like, because they change, you know what I mean? They're like one way one day, and then like they slowly, you know, they're kind of saying a mess of words one day, and then it becomes like more of a sentence as the days go on. And like you'll kind of see like an overnight shift usually. Like it kind of gets to a point where you're like, oh shit, like, and then the next day it's like, you know. So my daughter's either like at that point, or like my youngest anyway is either like at that point, or she's like, you know, about to be there. She's like, you know, talking all types of shit and like, you know, understanding a little bit more, and like, so I don't know where I was going with this. I really don't. I mean, it's partially a parenting podcast, you know what I mean? So I guess I should talk a little bit about parenting stuff. But it was nice that the snow happened the other day, because like it's been it was like 2 years in a row where there was no snow, and then this past year, this is like the most snow we've got in a while, and it literally was like we woke up, it was there, like we went to bed, it wasn't snowing, woke up, it was there, and then it was like it just pretty much gone. It just disappeared. But we were able to sled a little bit, and we made a snowman, couple snowmans, snow children, because we didn't have enough snow the second time around. The first was like probably like a snow like little person or dwarf, midget, whatever you call them these days, whatever is politically correct. Every time I sit down to do this, my nose gets like stuffy. I don't know if it's from sitting down or what it is. But yeah, my wife was crazy sick last week. Not crazy sick, but she was pretty sick. And so far, nobody else has got whatever she had. So I'm hoping that that trend continues, but who knows? Anyway, I had a fuck up on eBay. So I've been selling on eBay now for about 6 years. And I've never mixed up packages before, like sent the wrong package to somebody. I've done it once, and it was just, I just sent like the wrong package, you know what I mean? So I could just be like, oh, I'll just send you, so I was like, you keep that one and I'll just send you the other one. It was like a magazine or something, you know what I mean? So it didn't really cost me that much money. So this one, I don't think this will cost me any money either. But this one I sent it to the 2 completely wrong people. Like it was 2 Masters of the Universe from that big Masters of the Universe haul I got earlier, or at the end of the last year, for free. So I sent one so they both got purchased on the same day, and when I shipped them out, I shipped them to the opposite people. And so now I had to reach out to them. One person reached out and was like, hey, you sent me the wrong thing. And I was like, oh, and I immediately knew, because I was like, oh, that sold the same day as these other 2. So I immediately reached out and was like, hey, you know, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. So then both buyers were really cool, sent them back like immediately. And so that I'm hoping that to get the other one back soon. I got one back today, and then hopefully get the other one back. And then I just have to ship them to the appropriate buyers. But yeah, I was glad they both like immediately like reached out and got back, and so I was very happy about that. So I'm going to ship them back. I got to look and see if I have anything. I don't know. I don't think I hate to like set a precedent of giving people shit when I have a business, but like I feel like if you help me out by sending shit back, if I have something small as like a token of my gratitude, I have like, I'm not going to give this to them, but I have like a Skeletor rookie card. For a while I was big into getting rookie cards of like fictional characters. Like I've got the rookie card of Ghost Rider, I've got Deadpool, I've got Spawn. I've got a bunch of them, like their first appearances, or yeah, no, they're rookie cards. Duh, the fuck. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I have so many cards. Like I could just like stop reselling other things and focus on cards for a while, and I would be good for the next like probably 2.5 years. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. If I just want to take them all to a card show, and I don't know. I still go back and forth. Oh, sorry for yawning like that. It's just the way I talk. I don't know why that just made me laugh so much. So I saw this thing on Facebook the other day or yesterday. I go on there to try. This is what happens to me literally every time. I go on to list something, and then I see something that distracts me, and then I'm on there fucking dicking around for a few minutes. But anyway, I was sitting next to my wife, and we're watching TV, and it was a meme that popped up, and it was like said something like, did you know that if you shake a salt shaker, if you pretend to shake a salt shaker into your mouth, you can taste the salt. So I did it, and as soon as I started, and I did it a couple times, and I was like, I don't taste the salt, and then I realized it was just trying to make it look like you were air sucking a dick. And I did that sitting next to my wife. She didn't see me do it, but I did it, and immediately, as soon as I realized what it said, I started like uncontrollably laughing, like laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. And she's like, she thought she missed something on the TV. She's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? What are you?" So then I show her the picture of what it is, and she's like, realizes it was crazy. It's not crazy. It wasn't like, it was just the fact that I wasn't sure. I was like, just like, forgot I have video. I can do it. I did that. I was just like, it doesn't taste like salt. And then I realized oh, what it was. So I thought that was fucking so funny. I don't know why I just brought that up, but it did really make me laugh. Sometimes there's some funny shit on the internet, dude. There you can find some funny shit. All right, let's get back to my topics. Oh yeah, and I just had a thing pop up right before I sat down that there's like a payment dispute from one of my orders. Those ones are really annoying because it's always like months later, and I don't know how they do it now, but this is how they do it now. I know how they do it now because they just sent me a thing, and it's like, oh, you don't have to do anything right now. So in the past, I've had this happen where I've had to submit something if they dispute a payment or something like that. But it's just very weird that people dispute payments, and I'm sure you could probably do a few of them a year and get money back, but it's just very bizarre. And it's one of my, it doesn't annoy me nearly as much as other things, but it should. All right, let me see. Oh, and then I was just thinking about this the other day. When I first started reselling, I used to pre-package my orders. So I would buy a bunch of shit, take pictures of it, and then package it up in boxes, and then put the boxes up, and then put tape on it or stickers on it. And it took up a whole room of our house of just this is when we first were, when we lived in our old house, and before we moved back to where we live now. And so we didn't really have a ton of space. So so we didn't have a ton of space. So I just I would get the orders all just ready to go pretty much, and then put them up, and they take up a crazy amount of space. I thought that it would take up less space because I'm oh, I'll just stack them up, whatever. But I would go to a bunch of yard sales, get a bunch of shit, and then come back and have it just tons of stuff. And You just have all this stuff, and fucking just lost my train of thought. Completely just lost my train of thought. What the fuck was I just talking about? My God, I just looked at something and got completely sidetracked. Oh, yeah. So I just thought, you would think that it would take like a lot less space, but it just would take me forever. So I was just, thinking about stuff the other day that like I used to do, or trying to improve my business and stuff, but just thinking of ways that I failed in the past. I feel like I should go up and check on my child. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I tried that one time, screwed it up, and then that's my second time trying it. I'm back. Finish up this podcast. I was just I had to go up and deal with my child. She was she had a full diaper of poop, and then she was saying she wasn't tired, and she wasn't tired. She started crying. So I was like, fuck it, I can't, once you get to that point where you're like, your kid's crying, you're like fucking worked up yourself, because she's like, trying to get you to stop. And so yeah, she wasn't tired, but she fell asleep as soon as I left the room. You know what I mean? She was like, she wanted me to stop the podcast to come back and hang out, and then fell asleep almost immediately. So she was tired. She just had a full diaper, but she doesn't tell me when she has it. So like, it's a pain in the ass. It's fucking whatever. Anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about. I think I had left off. Let me see if I have something that I was talking about specifically. I think I was just talking about like pre-packaging my packages. So the other thing I was going to talk about is like how my method of, because I talked about like how I used to pre-package, because I mean I'm 50 episodes in, so it's time of reflection, and so I was also thinking about like how I my method of listing things, it's like effective, but it's kind of ridiculous, because what I'll do is I'll take a bunch of pictures, and then once I'm done with those pictures, like once I'm done taking the pictures, then I go through like the oldest ones first. Does that make sense? So like I'll go through the ones I took originally first, and then work my way through. So like even if I have something that's like painful, you know what I mean? I won't skip it. I'll force myself to list it, because otherwise it just will sit, and then either be a draft or whatever. So like I will just, if it's too late and I'm tired, like sometimes if I'm tired, I could do an easy listing, something I'm used to doing, but if it's something I'm not really into, I just forget it. I'm like, the listing's going to be fucked up. Somebody's going to get a deal, or it's going to be a mistake that cost me, a few dollars, or, but yeah, so I force myself to do it though. Like I force myself to go through and just take the pictures you don't really want to take, and then get through those, and then you're on to the next. But that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I've got like some jewelry and stuff, and jewelry's not my favorite, like, because it does well, but like, it's also just, I hate taking the time to list. It's not my favorite thing to list. I don't know what anything's called, so I'm like having to constantly look stuff up. I'm like, I'm sure if I did it more, it would be fine. And it does pay well. But yeah, that's just where I'm at right now. I have a bunch of jewelry and like watches and like stuff I just don't want to do. It doesn't excite me. I know some people love it. Some people like watches. Some people like glassware. Those are the real psychos. The people that like specifically do glassware and lamps. I've done lamps before. I saw a lamp at the estate sale I went to the other day, and they had this like, it's a hurricane lamp. I know that. I think, is it Hurricane? Gone with the Wind? I don't remember. But I know like the style is pretty popular, and you can get a decent amount of money for it. And they only wanted like $10 for it, but I was like, I just don't want to deal with it. There's a couple things I passed on that I should have gotten, but I don't think gotten's a word. I should have bought. Should have bought. Should have picked him up. I'll just say picked him up. Sorry. Just trying to work through my vocabulary in my head as I'm out loud. So yeah. I don't know if that method is like crazy, or if it's like if people agree with it and they think like, oh, that's like a not bad way of doing things. There's no sales posted for this week yet, like estate sales or yard sales yet. I'm considering doing my own sale. I have a ton of yard sale stuff that I need to just like pull out, and like stuff that's just been sitting for a while. Like I'm thinking about just clearing all that shit out next. And then once I have all that shit cleared out, then like go through and maybe do like, I'm thinking about doing whatnot for some of my clothes, because I have so many clothes. So I might just do like a blowout whatnot auction one night and start the clothes at like $1 a piece, and then like go from there. Because I've got like cool t-shirts, but it's like not anything that I want to, take the time to list and cross list. It's already like listed, and I've just got so much. So I think I'm going to do that as well. That's going to be on my plan of stuff to do and for spring cleaning. My next thing, as I've already talked last week about how I've got to do my taxes. But yeah, I got to get my taxes in order. Taxes are easy for me. Not like easy, but I keep my shit like, somewhat organized throughout the year. Not by me, by somebody. But I use like a program. So it just basically does it for me. So I only have to, the end of the year, I just kind of get it together. I check it throughout the year, but then I get it together and submit it. So we'll see. Hopefully the business is profitable this year again. It's been profitable, which is nice. I try to be profitable. I mean, if you're not profitable, either you're doing something wrong or you're like claiming too much shit. Yeah, I still haven't got the trailer registered. I need to go get the trailer registered. I've just been so busy lately. It's at school. Like, I didn't realize how much school would take up of my time. Like, not that it's like, it takes up a huge amount of time, but it's just like I've got to get classes and stuff done by a certain time. But I've been on it. Like, my homework that was listed on Monday was due for Friday. I've already done that. And then I've got like homework for one other class that I have to do by, I think, Monday. And I'm already halfway through that. So I'll probably finish the other part later. My daughter has dance class today, but her grandmother's going to go with her because she hasn't got to go to this new dance class yet. And we have the other child, so it's like she either has to watch my other child or she has to go to the dance class. So she was like, I'll go to the dance class. It's like, okay. She didn't want to go to the one before because we had gymnastics. We just recently switched from gymnastics to dance. And like the way the dance school is, or the gymnastics school is, like when like the kids hit like a certain age, I think it's like 5 or something like that, they tell them, the parents, not to come. Like oh, you just drop them off. And so they're like, yeah, you can just drop them off and then like they can wait here. And the lady, I've overheard the lady telling them one time, like telling parents one time, like, oh, there's people here to watch the kids, whatever, or keep an eye on them. And there's never any like, there's like adults that are there waiting for their kids, like me and other parents and shit. But there's no like, there's like one like teenager at the reception, and then there's like the I think she's the owner. I don't know what she is. And so like the kids just come in and they act fucking ridiculous. Like there was these 2 kids one time, they were like brother and sister, but I didn't know they were brother and sister at the time. And I was like, oh shit, is this going to be like an incident where he was like grabbing her? Like, like it was weird because it was like, oh, it was like, obviously like they were too young to know what like sexual shit was, you know what I mean? But it was like, he was obviously being like aggressive grabbing and stuff like that. So like the other moms you could see were like getting kind of like worked up. And before anybody could even get up and like say anything, because it was getting to the point where it was like, all right, this is getting a little bit like much. And the other lady came out, what's her name? The owner lady came out and she was like broke them up, and they were like brother and sister. So that's why they were like had a crazy comfort level with each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like I thought they were going to beat the shit out of each other. And then like, I thought they were going to like, I don't know what the fuck these kids were doing. But anyway. But yeah, and then she like, the lady was said to us, she's like, to the other parents, she's like, oh yeah, if the kids are ever getting a little out of hand, you guys can say something to them too. It's like, no, that's not fun. Like, I would never. Like back in the day, that was like a thing you do, but like these days, people like freak the fuck out, especially at a place like that where it's like, this is my 100% is not my job. I'm here for my child. Wait until she gets out, and then I'm gonna be headed on my way. I don't get paid to fucking discipline other people's children. And why would you drop off 5-year-olds anyway? Like 5-year-olds are just gonna run around and act a fucking fool, and they're not supervised. So that was just so that was a while back, but like, yeah, and for a while, like, you just get there and a bunch of kids would be running around fucking crazy, like, so she didn't want to have to deal with that, so she, but I had to tell her, like, oh, the class is very small, like, it's not like it was before, like, so, did anybody see Kanye West? I know nobody can answer me right now, but if anybody saw Kanye West, the Grammys with his naked wife. It's just funny. People are like, oh, she's definitely fucking under duress, or like, she looks like she's like being kept captive, or it's like, dude, she's a fucking model. Do you really don't think that she's going to not take any opportunity to get people like onto her Instagram? Or I bet she has an OnlyFans. Like, she probably just gets paid fucking ass loads of money to be naked. And all she has to do is come, like, they barely come out. When was the last time you saw them out? They don't come out ever. And any single time they come out, she comes out half naked. And then what do people do? They freak out because she's naked. And it's like, how much traffic do you think that drives to her Instagram page or whatever? And they're always like, yeah, Kanye West is fucking boo. It's like, dude, she's an adult and she's a model. Like, let her fucking be naked if she wants to be naked. Who gives a shit? The fact like, this guy's disgusting, he's a pig, blah 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 blah. It's like, what happened to like women empowerment? You know what I mean? Like, the ideas go completely out the window when it doesn't fit the thing that you want it to fit. But I just thought that was funny. Her big ass titties fucking somebody was like, she's wearing a condom. Oh man, and I love Kanye West music. I do. Kanye West is a person. I mean, obviously the guy is fucking deranged, but like, he's an artist. So what are you gonna do? I mean, I still listen to R. Kelly, and he's. I don't listen to him like I'd listen to R. Kelly if the name comes up and I'm drinking. Typically, like, R. Kelly typically doesn't come on unless I've been drinking and I'm like fucking around. But Kanye West, I listen to Kanye West all the time, like regularly. So I just thought that was funny though. Sorry, I don't know where. I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. There's gonna be probably some horrible edit to try to get this thing all spliced together. I said fuck it. I like started to take stuff down, and then I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna have time to redo this podcast later. My kid actually fell asleep. She was like not sleeping. I thought I was gonna have to go up there. Thought she was gonna be crying this whole time. But she's like, she cries for like a minute. That's why she'll catch my wife like all the time. Like, cause my wife will go up to help her with something, like, she'll cry. She'll need to get changed or something. My wife will go up and then just get stuck in the room. You know what I mean? She can't get down. She's like, well, she started to cry. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, she cries for like, it's not even like letting her cry it out. It's like, she literally will cry for like 2 minutes, if that. And then she just goes back to whatever. She's like, oh, well, fuck, that didn't work. You know what I mean? So I came down and she almost got me on it. I was like, she was crying because she was like really upset. And so I was like, all right. And all I did was just go up. I changed her diaper and she was like, I'm not tired. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see. And then she was definitely tired. So I went down. And yeah. But yeah, man, just, I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day too. Like, whenever I'm a parent and I catch myself, I'm a parent all the time. But like, whenever I catch myself thinking about like, oh, it's going to be fun to like, go to roller coasters when they're older. Or anytime I think about like stuff in the future, I like stop. I'm like, all right. I just think about like right now, current, present, right now. And I go by that. You know what I mean? I feel like that was like a Michael Jordan thing. That documentary, the Chicago Bulls documentary where they're like talking about how Michael Jordan was just present in the moment. You know what I mean? He didn't like, you don't like think about, because like I used to do that when I was a kid, and when I was in high school, I'd like fantasize about being older. Like I would just, I would have like daydreams just about like normal situations, but just like being a grown up, essentially, like having a wife and kids and all that stuff. And you kind of daydream about it when you're younger. But then when you do that when you've got kids, it's like you can't do that. You got to just keep it in the now. And you also can't like really live in their past either. You know what I mean? You can't be like treating them like they're 2 and they're 3, because they're just not the same person. You know what I mean? So that's my little dad wisdom. Episode 50, man. Coming with some wisdom from the GOAT. Speaking of the GOAT, I figure I'll end on this story just because this was like a story I thought of the other day. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about supermarkets. And my first job was at a supermarket. And it was like one of those jobs my buddy got a job there, and then he got me a job there. And we started off, just like, I think they were called, I don't know if they called us clerks. Maybe they did call us clerks. I think we were called clerks. I don't remember what we were called. Maybe it was clerks. I don't know why I keep saying it like that. But anyway, so yeah, I started off as like a clerk. Like I would get like the fucking shopping carts, and then like, just like bag groceries, that type of shit. And so then eventually, like, I was there long enough, and they were like, oh, part of it was like we got work done, but we fucked around a lot. You know what I mean? Like we were probably the best employees at the time, but we fucked around constantly. So like they wanted to keep us working, but they didn't want us to have to be around customers. Like they wanted to cut down our customer interaction as little as possible as we could have. And so they ended up moving us to like this is me and my buddy who got me the job, and I think his brother eventually ended up working there, and like we all just worked there at one point. And so they moved us into like the grocery section. So like what that means is like we then stocked the shelves. You know what I mean? Like so we went from being in the front to, dealing with customers and helping out and shit, like, to then being in the back where like we just were in the back, like with all the fucking food and shit. And like we were bad about it. Like I would eat shit. If there was like a box that was open, like you were supposed to like throw it away, and not throw it away, but like throw it in like a thing so they could account for it. And I would just like take a package of like Pop-Tarts out, or like you would find a box that would get there, and you'd just take your box cutter and you'd fucking cut the box open, be like, oh, this shit's damaged, and you take out the food that you wanted. So like it was probably not the best idea to have us do that. And then like that movie Waiting came out, because like we would do little games and shit throughout the, just fuck with each other. And so we would do like different games and stuff. And then that movie Waiting came out, and if this was before I even waited tables, you know what I mean? I didn't even know the rest of the Waiting, like, the movie Waiting. I didn't even know the rest of like that whole life or culture or whatever. But at the time I was, still working at a grocery store. And so they play a game. I forget what they call it. I think it's just called The Game. And they like show each other their nuts, like their fucking balls, their testicles. And so they've got all these different names for them. There's like the brain and the bat wing, and like I think the final one was like the goat. And the goat was like basically you took your dick in your balls and you like bent over and you stuck your dick in your balls through the back of your like so like you could see your asshole and your dick in your balls, basically, you know what I mean? So and so that was like the one that was hardest to get somebody with, because all the other ones you could like pull out your dick in your balls and like put it under your shirt or whatever. And so like you'd have to do it, kind of secretive. And so when that movie came out and they started doing that game and they showed that game, we were like, we're fucking in middle school or high school or whatever we were, like probably either middle school freshman, maybe freshman year, maybe 8th grade probably. And so we started playing this game where we'd show each other our dick and balls, and like it was, my buddy would get me in the aisle. He would fucking take it. He would do it behind customers. Like I would be like talking to a customer. He would pull his fucking balls out in the middle of the aisle. Like he just had no fucking shame. So, but he never got me with the goat. So there was like one day where I was like, I'm going to get him with the goat. So I went and I went and got help from one of the other employees. It was this chick that we knew. And I was like, hey, can you I didn't tell her what I was doing. I just was like, hey, can you call him? There's like an area of the back office where you can like climb up kind of, and like, it's kind of hidden basically. So like nobody else can see it or whatever. And like you can see who's coming, so you can like, hide if you need to. I forget what it was called at the time. They had a specific name. And so basically I went and I told her, I was like, hey, can you have him paged and sent to the thing, like the storage area, whatever it was called. And I was like, just give me like 5 minutes to get over there, and then page him and just say that he needs to see so-and-so up at the thing. So she just like made up like, not a name, but she said, yeah, like, you need to see so-and-so up at the thing. And she said it over the loudspeaker in the grocery store. And so I went up there and I did I tucked my dick in my balls, like threw my legs out the back. So it was like my ass and my dick and my balls. Whereas like the first thing you see is you come around up like the stairs around the corner. And I just waited there and I heard the announcement. I'm like, oh, okay, he's coming. So he comes up and just boom, walked right into it. So my plan worked perfect. It was like perfect execution, and never got caught. And I think that was like I think that was it. I think that was like the end of the game. We might have played it a little bit, but once I got that one, that was kind of it. I don't think my buddy didn't want to play anymore. He was like, I'm done with this game. This is fucking disgusting. My fucking nasty ass and my fucking dick and balls out. All right. I think, let me see if I have anything left to talk about. I got kind of thrown off. Oh, okay. Here's a quick another little like thing I have. This is, I mean, obviously these aren't really related to reselling, but I just have to add some stuff in here just to, with that, when it's not really yard sale season, it's hard to come up with like a podcast every week. But this is just something I noticed. So if there's if the other car in any scenario, like on the road, if you're driving into a parking lot, or you're taking a left or whatever, and you think the other car is going to stop, or like the other car is supposed to be in a position where they have to stop, and potentially give you the right of way. These type of cars will never give you the right of way. And I've noticed it all the time. And I just always, anytime I see a car coming with one of these, I just assume that they're not going to stop for whatever rule of the road we've got going. At the time, like, so I was at the school the other day, and there was like a stop sign. It was clearly like, I've been at the stop sign, I was getting ready to go, and this car just kept comes right through their stop sign. And I knew they were going to do it because they had like a little mini flag. It's usually like just an any flag, whatever country. It's usually not the U.S. flag. It's never an American flag. It's always they hang it from the rear view mirror. It's never the American flag, because we like our flags big, like with the exception of like the little ones that they give you on, the old ladies like to give you on 4th of July and like Memorial Day and Veterans Day. But yeah, anytime you see somebody coming, if they have a little flag hanging from their rear view, you're going to know what I'm talking about. If you've ever grown up in like an urban area, like in the city or near a city, you know what I'm talking about. And if you come into a situation with one of those cars, just give them the right of way, because they're going to take it. It doesn't matter. Just assume that they have the right of way. All right. I think that's an hour. Thank Thank you for listening. This is the 50th episode. I plan to do another 50 and then another 50 and another 50. So if you're enjoying the podcast, leave a comment, subscribe, like, tell your friends. I'm going to try to get some new content, like another show with my wife going. There's going to be some stuff going up on, I want to do a Patreon at some point with extra bonus stuff. But like, yeah, this is the one podcast. This will be free. All the other shit's going to be on Patreon. So I'm still trying to come up with like an idea for some other stuff to put on the Patreon. I've got some old videos from when I used to record going to yard sales that I was thinking about editing and putting some commentary on. But all right, that's the podcast. Thanks. And then, Super Bowl is this weekend. So if you're watching that and you want somebody to win, I hope your team wins. I don't care this year. I would prefer for the Eagles to win, but it'd be cool if the Chiefs won. But I mean, nobody wants to see the Chiefs win. Everybody thinks they're cheaters. It's nice because the heat's off the Patriots. You know, I'm a Patriots fan, so nobody calls the Patriots cheaters anymore. They're like the Patriots cheated, but the Chiefs fucking cheat. But all right, anyway, that's the podcast. I'll check in next week. Bye.